Dig down, down under long enough, and you may come up with a chunk of uncut opal like this one. Our Seth Doane traveled to Australia to see for himself.
There's a treasure hunt going on down there. From above, the hundreds of thousands, some say 1 million or so holes, look like something an eager animal left behind. But humans drilled those holes, searching for opal. John Dunstan has been a prospector for nearly 50 years.
What kind of fortune are you talking about if you find opal?
You can find
$1
million, no problems.
Really?
Yeah.
He's had to endure the blazing heat, not to mention the flies, and has not found any opal in 2 years. But there's that dream.
This is probably the only place in the world where you can be broke one day and rich the next.
This place, called Coober Pedy, is in Australia's Great Outback. It's an 8-hour drive to the closest city, and summertime temperatures soar to 120 degrees. Still, it became a destination after opal was discovered here 100 years ago.
This is the lifeblood for Coober Pedy.
Yeah, that's what basically built the town.
These opals.
George Busios polishes and sets opal gemstones into jewelry.
What we look for is bright colors. The brighter they are, the more brilliant the stone is, the more valuable they get.
As much as 80% of the world's opal supply comes from Coober Pedy's mines.
So you're chipping away and then all of a sudden you find this.
Yep.
It's like striking gold.
Oh, very much so. A lot like winning the lotto.
Wow.
This story could almost end here if it weren't for something else that makes this town really, really unusual.
Did you ever imagine you'd be living underground?
No.
No way.
I wrote to my family and said, I'm living underground in Coober Pedy. My mother wrote back, return of post, don't be proud, son, we'll send you the fare home. They thought I was in a cave, you know.
Yep, it's not just the opals that can be found underground here, it's the people too. Folks like Shelley and Rod Wells.
What's it like living underground? Do you even think about it? Beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Why?
It's always cool, you know, soundproof, great acoustics. It's nice and everybody here does it.
It's the preferred way to live in Coober Pedy underground.
There are hundreds of these so-called dugout homes burrowed into rock. They're cooled naturally, an escape from the brutal heat.
Is there anything claustrophobic about living underground?
Well, if you've got the height, not really.
Shelley runs a beauty salon down here. In town, there's the underground bookstore, an underground bar, and Debbie Clay showed us her underground business.
At the front here, we're about 10 metres. By the time we get to the back, we're at 22 metres below the hill.
Wow, so this hotel goes really deep.
It's really deep.
Clay took us into what will soon be the newest wing.
When you want to expand the hotel, you just dig deeper.
That's right.
And once you start digging in Coober Pedy,
It would take a long time to...
you never know what you might discover.
They found about $20,000 worth just across the top of here. And that
opal?
Of opal. You can see the opal colour.
That opal find paid for their entire previous renovation in a section of the hotel which butts up against a 100-year-old mine.
So you really don't realise how big the open space is here until we turn the lights on.
It's a labyrinth back there.
That's right.
Tourism brings in more money than the opals these days, as people come to marvel at a place where residents even worship underground. And which is filled with a real range of characters.
Was this a mine or was this always a house?
No, it was a mine.
Meet Swampy. He lives underground next to an old Chevy truck he's working on, and explained how when you need a shelf for, say, the skull of your old dog Max, you just dig it out. Same thing for a second bedroom.
It's a work in progress.
I see. Tell me about the work. What's involved?
Basically a rather large jackhammer.
The second bedroom is not far away.
No, we'll
Close the gates at night, we've got our own little kingdom here.
Rod and Shelley Wells say there's no better sleep than in a silent, windowless room. And that's all the better for dreaming of what they call opal fever.
I've tried a lot of things in my life, but when you dig out a few $1,000s with a hand pick, it's the most beautiful feeling in the world.